There are circuits you look at and you think, this is a track which could be absolutely everything you want it to be. But then you get the modernists who say that racing has to be safer, has to be tighter, has to be more secure. And you look at what racing is and you say, absolutely, racing has to be safer, has to be more secure. But when it's virtual, like the RTA Virtual Motorsport, Toyota GT86 series, we're going old school. We're going proper for the iRacers. We're going to Lime Rock Park in its full entirety and its classic variation here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching around the world. My name is Jake Sperry, and alongside me in the commentary box is Craig King. Daniel Costello is in the director's chair, and he swivels behind cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But a track which has not necessarily changed too much in the many years of service that it's been held. Let's take a little look at this brilliancy of free content for iRacing with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Lime Rock Park. Located in the northwest corner of Connecticut, this unassuming little track has garnered a surprisingly passionate following. Its unique aspects create a circuit not only full of character, but consistently challenging even to modern race cars. While it has 4 different possible layouts, on the classic version, only 7 corners are split along a 1.5 mile track with just a single one of them turning left. Though simple in appearance, most drivers will tell you that trying to be fast here is anything but. The run down the front stretch into Big Bend offers pretty much the only viable passing spot, but it's a double apex right-hander which lures drivers into taking it too fast. The uphill is also scary quick considering its lack of runoff and can sometimes cause cars to get airborne over its crest. Then, on the opposite end, the downhill sends cars diving into a quick sweeper which requires a good exit speed in order to defend or attack back into the first corner. Modern racing mostly uses the more recently built chicanes, especially at the uphill. But one of the most unusual facts about this track is that the races are never held on Sunday. Due to a legal agreement with a nearby church, events must take place on Fridays and Saturdays. The confines around this place are tight, the passing opportunities are few, and mistakes are usually punished with race-ending damage. With most other road courses now being built with upwards of 3 and 4 miles in length, this track stands out. But in an age of multi-million-dollar facilities and flashy buildings, this quaint small circuit manages to keep fans coming back with its intimate and grassroots setting.
You could say it's a glorified oval in some respects. It's only got one left-hander on the entirety of the course, but it still proves to be a track where positioning is key and moves are thought out corner by corner, lap by lap. Craig, 7 turns, 2.5 kilometers just under, doesn't necessarily do it the justice.
It doesn't do it the justice, and I can't do it the justice in the same amount of time a driver could do a lap around here. But let's just talk about what we're talking about here. A lot of compromises on the corners. The big bend, the left-hander, you want to try and compromise the apex there to set yourself up for the next corner, which is the second part of the big bend, and the right-hander. Getting those corners right, the flow is fantastic. Expect some nice battles there. No Name Straight is literally that. There's no name to it, and it is a tight chicane. Almost complex there. It's very narrow, and then you get to the uphill. The iconic uphill, if we're on the classic layout, we've got some jumping here. Yes, all 4 wheels will leave the ground, which also means can the drivers keep that steering wheel straight? I'm going to put the over-under for spins there at about 5 for the evening, and then it's downhill to the west bend with the north winds coming at you, and then down to the diving turn. High-speed corner. This is the 3rd week in a row, Jake, that we've seen a last corner where drivers could go really wide and catch the edge, and this time there's not a lot of run-up between the grass and the walls here. Gonna be a tough one. It's old-school racing. I love it.
I love it as well, and I'm sure we're going to see just how important these drivers are going to find a track like this one today. But it's also about the season, 8 straight weeks worth of racing. Let's get a look at our championship standings to see where everyone is. And you've got Peter McCann at the top on 102 points with a large margin, 31 over Sean McClements, and then Rory O'Shea just behind that by 2 points, and 2-point increment between himself, Ian May in fourth, and Evan Walsh in fifth. Robert Moore finds himself in sixth, tied on points with Lawrence de Sosa. Sean McGoldrick, who missed last time out, is in eighth position, with Jamal Gandor tied on points with him in ninth, and John McDonald rounding out the top 10 overall in those drivers' standings. An important drivers' standings because of the one drop round that's already in play, so a big margin up on the top already. But let's turn our attention over to what makes today's racing special, Craig, because it's 3 races as per usual, and it is fraught with action.
Yeah, our usual format. If it's your first time here, we've got a 15-minute qualifying that's just going on, and that will set the grid for the first race. 15 minutes, and that is worth 30 points to the winner. And then race 2, that results in race 1, sets you up for a 10-minute race in race 2. Again, 30 points to the winner. That is a mad scrap, and that could cause a lot of chaos there. And then you reverse the top 8 to get to race 3, the feature race, 20 minutes long. Guess what? 30 points up for the winner yet again. Now, the drive-through penalties at 15x, disqualifications at 20. With the amount of off-tracks you could be seeing around here and people spinning maybe at the uphill, we could see that in play today.
We definitely could. It is a possibility. You definitely can't deny it out there. But what you definitely can sense with these drivers here at Lime Rock Park is that they have got to be on their tippy toes. Qualifying is a very, very important phase of racing, and we take a little look around the track and in towards the big bend of Sean McGoldrick, who's up in third position at 57.041 and trying to be really alert through all of these corners. Now, they are going to be fighting a lot with this car around here today because they are going to be trying to be on that ragged edge of grip, Craig. And as we know, when you're on the ragged edge of grip, the last thing you want is a traction control system.
Yeah, traction control does kick in on this car very easily. And also on cold tyres, you could oversteer this car and cause it to flip. So they've also got to be very careful. Look at the track temp as well. It is 51 Celsius as an off-track there for Sean McGoldrick this time by. 51 Celsius is going to be very tough on these cars again. So that's going to play factor for the traction here as McGoldrick comes in. Really going to be looking forward to that because that wind is well westerly. That can cause some issues down the main straight.
It's so hot, and it's always the analogy that you can use. You can fry an egg on it. It's that hot. Sean McClements, though, who's their second in the championship, back in control of the car, is looking for an improvement on that time. And with just a minute 40 remaining, drivers are looking around saying, well, if you're not out on track now, because it is a hard cutoff here at 0 seconds, you're not going to get that final lap in. Over the line of 57.2, unable to improve. But look who's on top of the timing stands at the moment. It's number 7. First time we've seen him all season. It's Jordan Kelly. He feels confident.
Yeah, Jordan Kelly feels confident. He's not out there at the moment. Neither is Rory O'Shea, and he's very close behind. 2/10 for McGoldrick. You think that's not a lot. That's a lot on a track like this. Tony Stack now. He's coming down into the no-name straight. What is he going to do? He's in the middle of traffic here. Let's see how much commitment he's got over this hill, using all that run-up as possible, and just keeps it going. A little bit of a lift as he comes down now into the west bend. And again, as much commitment as you can. Thankfully, with these cars, with the amount of speed, they are able to keep on the throttle quite easily, but just making sure that back does not get upset just like that. Tony Stack just shows, and another car behind him, which is McClements, shows how easy it is to make a mistake.
Oh, just about going to gather it. Just about going to gather it. Gathers it. Just about there. And a car that loves being out sideways, doing its job. Here comes Sean Hegarty, looking towards the line. Has he got himself then anything to go? That's a 57.161. Ties the time with the championship leader there, Peter McCann. So not bad at all. Just to make it even more confusing, yes, we do have 3 Seans in the field here tonight. As on the brakes, getting past Chan Wing Fei in the Truno AE86, the predecessor's car. And that then will be just about everybody done with qualifying. Let's take a look at our starting grid for heat number 1, or race number 1, as it is for us. Jordan Kelly on the pole position. We'll have Rory O'Shea for company, just 400s, split them in qualifying. Then it's a fight of Sean. They haven't been able to separate each other for a season and a half. McGoldrick ahead of McClements, with Robert Moore in 5th place, ahead of the championship leader Peter McCann, who starts from 6th. Sean Hegarty and Ian May are 7th and 8th, with Tony Stack starting 9th and Adam Dowling rounding out the top 10.
Very quickly into the second row before they grid up. John McDonough will take 11th. Chan Wing Fei will be 12th. Jamal Gandor will take 13th. Evan Walsh 14th. Ronan Henneman will be 15th. Rich Murphy takes 16th. And Martin McGonigal will take 17th for a 17th upfield today, Jake, in another hot track.
It's a hot track. It's a hot battle that they'll have to deal with, and it's 15 minutes to set the scene out in front. You're going to have to be a patience maker to get things sorted, and there is that Simpsons inspired car that's there. Let's get ourselves then on the grid. Let's get the lights on then here at this brilliant place. 51 degrees they'll be having to deal with, and let's get ourselves into position. Just Martin McGonigal there. Everybody sitting up, everybody ready. 15 minutes starts now, and we are underway. And the start's so important. Jordan Kelly gets absolutely bogged down off of the getaway. That brings McGoldrick to the inside. O'Shea with the lead, heading in towards the opening corner. But as they slide side by side, McGoldrick with the inside line is going to have to try and steal this away, heading towards that left-hander of the S's that comes along next. He can't do much. O'Shea leads.
O'Shea leads with a really good move as well. A couple of moves being moved in the back of the field. And still, as you start to see, the start here for O'Shea, fantastic. Managed to cut off McGoldrick on that inside of the big bend. But what a poor start for Jordan Kelly, getting bogged down on the straight. First time over the uphill. Is anybody going to make a mistake here? A little bit of squirreliness there from McGoldrick.
Well, no doubt there's squirreliness up the top of the hill. They're going to get air through this section as Jordan Kelly hounds and harasses his way towards that second place position. McGoldrick having to keep himself alert, having to keep himself covered, because there will be a gap over towards the front stretch. It's covered off, defended on that inside, and everyone looks to pivot for a line and pivot for position as they head through the opening corners. Kelly having to take 2 bites of the cherry in the number 7 car. The most Toyota number out there in this field, of course, alluring to that Le Mans effort that has been done by them in the past. And just like that, they stay as they are through the top 4, as it is pretty much pack mentality racing today.
Keep your eyes on Jordan Kelly. He had a little bit of a slide in the middle of that S's section there. Is the tyres a little bit overheated here? You're going to have to be careful with that dirty end. Take the different line. Look how differently he takes it. McGoldrick decides to use all of the road there, and he's entitled to. That's what that tarmac's there for. Down he'll go again. It's going to be tough, because if McGoldrick realizes Kelly's got to run, he can go for the deep end. If Kelly pulls out too early, there's a double toe. McGoldrick will get a little bit of toe.
Well, here is single toe, now looking to try and pivot out and once again make that move. They have that confidence to make it work around the outside. And again, it's going to be the patience game. Peter McCann with the fastest lap, and Kelly holds the line this time. And McGoldrick, they're going to lean on each other here, heading in towards the left-hander, and finally gets it done. So Jordan Kelly back up into second. Little bit of argy-bargy as they head to the right-hander. And that's going to bring McClements into play, as McGoldrick now has to firmly look behind in the mirrors. He's going to cover defensively here at uphill, which is really going to make the run chock-a-block for these drivers. And already Jordan Kelly away by 0.8 of a second.
Jordan Kelly's gone straight away. McGoldrick on the deep. Clements almost got spotted off there by Robert Moore. Everybody's just looking for their position. Jake, you talked about the oval track here with one left-hander. It really does feel like you're at a super speedway right now, as drivers are looking to make their moves when they can.
And speaking of they can, it's McCann who's got his eyes on the outside of Robert Moore to make this happen. Tony Stack now with the fastest lap of the race, and a pivot line trying to get it back through at turn 2, heading towards turn number 3. It's not happening at the moment. We take a look then from on board Robert Moore, his perspective of Peter McCann, the championship leader, Ian May just behind, and then you've got the likes of Tony Stack, the driver of the fastest lap of the race, John McDonald on the group as well, and Adam Dowling desperately trying to stay with. Up the hill they go, and they do squirrel about as they look to try and put the power back down again. As we take a look at this from the fifth position, it's suddenly on for that race lead. Jordan Kelly is not waiting about. Rory O'Shea is in a race.
Here comes Jordan Kelly. He has that move right now. Is he going to pull it over pretty easily? He's managed to go around the outside once before. This time it's going to be nice. Jordan collected in the background. We've got a big wreck, but we just keep our eyes here on Jordan Kelly. He's going to hold on to this position. He's going to get past Rory O'Shea, cut off any run there. And we're going to see who had that moment there. I believe that was Gandor just catching the wall there on the exit of the diving turn.
Well, he caught more than the wall. It was a case of he caught the curb first, and then it spat him out as he went through. The Simsa Esports driver getting it all horribly wrong. We'll take a look on the GSRC replay. So this is Chan Wing Fei, first and foremost, who has an awful shunt into the wall there. So that's what's brought him a lap down. So too Rich Murphy and Martin McGonigal then towards the back. Jamal Gandor's race was a little bit different. So he had his own troubles, and of course a massive smash up there. Ian May in the John Players Special Toyota 86 is now going to be looking at who's in front, who he can try and pivot and manage a way through. It's Peter McCann who will be focusing on next. And then in front of him, Robert Moore, who has lost contact with Sean McClements, who set the fastest lap. Oh, in the background, there you go.
And that's McDonald. The Potato Nation car is going around there. I think he just went a little bit too hot there and caught McDonald. But look at this. I wanted to say that weaving on the front stretch, that reminded me of the Indy 500 all of a sudden. Just with the way the cars were just trying to break the toe. Stack here, he won't be able to break any toe right now. He's trying to find his way through. But behind him, he's got to be careful, because Hegarty here, with 3 positions lost so far in the race, you know he wants to try and make some places up.
This is what happens to Jamal Gandor. Down the hill, slightly misses the apex. It pushes him out slightly wide. And as he grabs the grass on the inside, that's very fortunate there from the car behind. But Gandor absolutely wrecks it. Front and back and central, and not much more you can do about that. There is Tony Stack in 9th position, and you can notice there slowing. That's Ian May, and that would have been a huge issue coming down the hill at the diving turn. That's why he's dropped back the 2 places, because he's gone full drift spec in the wrong way. The tank slapper strikes for Tony Stack. He's in the barriers.
Yeah, Tony Stack almost had that drift under control. And then the car decided, no, I'm bored, you can go the other way now. And that's what happened to him. But now we've got to get back to this front pack. Sean McGoldrick, Rory O'Shea, and McClements. Sorry, that is McGoldrick itself. What can they do here? They keep following. They're keeping calm up ahead. Jordan Kelly still has this lead. 4/10 is quite a gap at a track like Lime Rock, but it can be clawed back so easily on this straight. And everyone's working together right now, not just to pull away, but also pull up to Jordan Kelly.
Put it like this, if you are 1 second slow around here at a track like Spa-Francorchamps, oh my goodness, a huge hit in the background there. That is a huge smash up for Sean Hegarty and co. That is a big, hefty hit into the pit attenuator. And it's again the final corner that's catching everyone out. GSRC replay, this is what happened to Rich Murphy up over the rise. That's caught him out, bang.
Oh, and catches another car as well, where I talked about that issue there. That's the first one of the night. Nobody wants to be the first one. Nobody even wants to be the next victim there over the hill. But unfortunately, that is the nature of that corner. Rory O'Shea still trying to look for a move here. Can he get a good run out of the final corner? It'll be interesting to see, because he'll have no additional slipstream. He'll be able to do this pretty easily. Nice little run. Does he try and upset the apple cart now with 7 minutes left in the race?
Well, he's not close enough. He's still there, 1.5 tenths of a second in towards the opening corner off of the Sam Posey straight. The big bend, it's not going to be enough. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All having to play the patience game, all having to be pretty. But you know that Jordan Kelly is the fastest driver in this group of 4. It's the slipstream that's bringing each other back into play. And it's that slipstream which is going to be the key. Who's going to get enough of it to launch themselves with a run? 6:43 on the clock. And we've got to play the LT game. Lap traffic is in front. The Potato Nation car of John McDonald next on the hit list.
Yeah, you can guess that Jordan Kelly might be doing the Sebastian Vettel songs as he goes wide out of the west bend as he tries to catch every little advantage around the track. And rightfully so, well, not rightfully so, but wisely so, is McDonald getting to the side. But that does allow Kelly to have another lap of survival. You could be asking yourself, why aren't they trying a move at any other corner? It's just too tight. The straights are not long enough to get a run here. You have to set yourself up really on the stand posy straight for an overtake.
These were the sort of speeds you're expecting cars to reach at the very top end of when this track was created all the way back in 1957. But as they reach that run wide a little bit, there goes McGoldrick in third position. That will open up the battle of Sean's once again. If you take a look at a GRC replay, this is Sean Hegarty's issue out on track. Grabs a little bit of grass, trying to save it. Wham! Out of time.
And look at the save by the car behind as well, making sure that they don't caught up in it. We've seen before in racing, people clip the grass there and they manage to save it by using the pit lane to their advantage. Unfortunately, it's such a tight pit lane here. It is a crapshoot there, what they want to do. But right now, this is a little bit of guessing. Can McGoldrick and McClements catch up to the back of this pack? They have the pace, because all you have to do here is just keep your pace with them, and then the slipstream will get you in. And if Kelly and O'Shea aren't really battling like this at the moment with Robert Moore, it could be very interesting what could happen.
I tell you what, Robert Moore is trying to fight with everything he's got. McCann stuck on that outside. Can't do much about that. Has to stay patient still and knows that he is running out of chances. Adam Dowling there in 7th position will be thinking, oh my goodness, this is Christmas. They're battling in front of me. I have a chance to close down the group in front, and that's the key. Time to catch the group, time to catch that one extra machine. Another GSRC replay here. This is Wingfei Chan, not for the first time here today, but for the second. Oh, he gets some help from behind as he tried to stay out of the way, and that is initially not a drift, but destruction.
Yeah, that is definitely an initial D, if anything, but unfortunately that's a second issue there for Chan. And what could happen? Could he go and keep racing? What damage does he have? We'll have to look. He's already 2 laps down. Moore still battling here with McCann. Can he pull away? The answer is no. And this is the place he was able to make the move last time, and he's able to defend it again. He's probably one of those drivers that's been able to make moves there, but he's managed to get his 5th place back. Elsewhere in the field, Evan Walsh has made 6th places up at the start of the race, as has Martin McConaughey. It does show that you can make moves here, and it looks like a move's going to be here for Peter McCann.
Oh, he's trying. West Bend, door open. Is he going to get the respect? Yes, he is. On the outside track, is there enough room? No, couldn't carry the speed. Robert Moore holds station for the moment, and Adam Dowling is going to be there, and is certainly going to be very happy with the way that this race is panning out. Just the 10 drivers right now on the leading lap. Both drivers taking a different braking marker into the opening section of road. And Moore is starting to try and diamond it off a little bit more with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, that's kind of the ideal way to take that big bend there. Because the first corner, it's a tap of the brakes, and then you're back on the throttle. It looks like it's one winding right-hander. It's 2 apexes there, and it's 2 braking zones. And that's what you want to do. A diamonding off usually is the better way. Keep the speed up, allows you to brake a little bit later in the final part of the big bend. Does help out some of these drivers, and that may be the saving grace for Moore today.
Might be the safest, and the option is very much there for all of them. We do know that Ronan Hederman has got the black and orange mechanical flag, so he's down on pit lane, so he's had a big smash up somewhere on circuit. On the brakes, though, Rory O'Shea running out of time to make those moves. Is he just waiting to show his hand, or is his hand already being shown because he can't reach the same paces that Jordan Kelly can, heading through the left-hander, trying to open up the attacks off of the exit? It's all about getting as much angle as you can for this right-hander. That's the setup corner, and it's O'Shea this time who grabs grass.
Yeah, he's trying to swing out as hard as he can on that apex. use all this curve here that you can start to see what McGoldrick was using as he entered the uphill. And if you can use as much of that as you can get a really good speed advantage. But clipping the grass like we've seen for a second time for O'Shea, it does cost you. And that gap now between O'Shea and Kelly is up to 7/10. And now they've got to work together. But there's only 1:30 left in the race. There's only 2 laps left in the race. That may be all she wrote for Rory O'Shea. He may be on defense now.
He may be. He's going to be able to close about 0.2 of a second on the straight, so it's going to have to be 0.3 here through this part of the lap if he wants any hope of the victory. Otherwise, it's a game of seconds and back at this moment. Through the left, they go of that left-hander of the S's. Now into the right, about maximising the power onto the no-name straight and just trying to take the path of least resistance, always trying to find a way to the apex, open out over that curve and attack the uphill. McClement's in the box seat to the podium, but finds he's nowhere in it.
He cannot find a way. He will get the double toe back to get to O'Shea and McGoldrick, but then he's got to be close enough, and then he's got to swing out at the right time for the late braking. It's not going to work. What about McGoldrick? He's there in the Mr. Spartan car. Is he going to be able to make a run here? No, he isn't. It's going to be white flag. They've got 58 seconds left to try and do something this time. Otherwise, they're just going to have to be complacent with keeping the same positions they started in.
Well, they won't be too upset about that. It's consistent points if they find the finishes here. Rory O'Shea there in second. Can't do anything about that driver there. Number 7, Jordan Kelly, who has always proven that he is a driver to be feared in the RTA Virtual Motorsport circles. A driver who is always up near the front of the field, always putting the power down and up the rise for the final time in race 1 of 3 tonight. Everybody squirreling out of shape, up over the uphill, now through the West Bend. It's going to be as clean as you like from Jordan Kelly. He'll descend down the hill, he will rush in through that diving turn, and he will have survived to tell the tale about it. He's proven he had pace, and he made it stick with aplomb. It's Jordan Kelly who wins.
Great run there from Kelly. Remember, he lost the lead on the start of the race, went down to 3rd, and just behind, Moore is going to hold off McCann with some really good driving there at the end. Really nice little battle between the two of them, but Jordan Kelly loses 2 positions on the start. Calm, cool, collective, recatches them all as we see the last of the lead runners on the lead lap come by. Ian May in 9th, and Tony Stack will round out all the top 10.
He certainly will, and once he's over the line, we'll get confirmation then of the results. The top 10 in play. Jordan Kelly holding out by 0.9 of a second over Rory O'Shea. 2 Sean's follow, McGoldrick followed by McClements. Robert Moore would finish 5th ahead of the championship leader Sean McCann, who went nowhere. The top 6 remained as they were from their grid positions. It was Adam Dowling up 3 into 7th, and a gain of 6 for Evan Walsh, who was able to take 8th place ahead of Ian May and Tony Stack, rounding out the top 10 overall in the racing. We will move very swiftly on to the 10-minute race, where it matters absolutely. You need to have a strong result here in this second race, because it follows on so swiftly, Craig, from what they were doing. It's get back in the rhythm with the shortest of breaks.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful. Start of these races usually get a little bit chaotic as people try to find the right position straight off the line. And with the lack of overtaking at the front of the field, you've got to feel that this first lap is going to be a very good litmus test on where these final positions will be. Don't forget, top 8 get reversed for the final race.
So we keep an eye on that transfer position of 8th place here in this one. We hope that it's not as chaotic as the first, but this is normally the most chaotic race out there. Everybody will be searching around going, this is what I want, this is what I need, and they are going to go out there. Track still hot, still at 50 degrees, 122 Fahrenheit. They have to be alert. Red lights are on, waiting for greens. Greens and go we get. And again, it's maybe an even worse start this time for Jordan Kelly. And again, he gets swamped, and he might lose even more positions this time on the run in towards the opening corner here, because he'll have Sean McClements trying to go around the outside. Robert Moore, though, tries to sneak through. There's a spin in the middle of the field, and it's Adam Dowling, and he takes off 2 more drivers in the background, sliding off. Goes Jamal Gandor and co.
Yeah, Ian May as well getting around, and that's not what he wants to see. Kelly is now in a fight himself with McGoldrick around the outside here. You've got to be absolutely kidding me. There's no way he can do this around the outside of McGoldrick, but he managed to get it done. McGoldrick has to be careful to block this off. Brilliant move there by Kelly. Even with that bad start, you can see he's got that pace. And look at him fight that car over the uphill. He really is fighting for that first place again.
He is, and he's doing a really good job of it, and you can't really argue much against it at this point. Robert Moore there in fourth. He's going to want to jump up then and find himself in that third position. That's going to be his main prerogative at this point as they now look to swarm around and try and find those positions. McCann having a little search in towards the opening corner. That one, no good just yet, but he clatters the curb on the inside, and I think it might just be held there by McClements, who blinks on the outside, but is still going to try and hold, and he's going to have that line at the inside left-hander, and has done enough.
He's done enough, and because of Robert Moore in front, yes, he's going to be able to just hold off here, trying to hold as much as he can, try to go for the defense. Key thing I want to just point out, though, in the backfield, John McDonald, that Potato Nation car, made up 6 spots on the opening lap, and now you start to see the pack now weaving and diving down the hill they go. No changes as drivers are now in their position. They're looking to make the runs that they need to get those all-important overtakes.
Those all-important overtakes are going to be clear. Rory O'Shea, your race leader. McGoldrick finding himself at 7/10 adrift at the moment. Top 7 all in play. Kelly, no surprises, has the fastest lap of the race. A little bit of sliding there from McCann. Oh, he's going to put himself in a bit of trouble there with Walsh, who again is trying to recover his way up through and find those places. Drama's on the start then for Ian May as well. And it looks like there might be troubles then for Martin McGonigal.
Yeah, McGonigal came into the pit. I believe he had a mechanical black flag after that lap 1, turn 1 crack there. They hit 3 cars out there, and I believe the only one that's still alive from it. No, Ian May and Gandalf both still driving after that incident, but these guys, no incidents at the moment unless you count Jordan Kelly's mishap on the start line. Down they go yet again for another time. 7 minutes left in the race. 11 laps come and go, but at Lime Rock, they come and go faster than you expect.
They do. It's pretty much a case of repetitism is what's going to get you in these races because you're doing so many laps, one after the other after the other. Walsh we look on board with here as it's another fast lap for Kelly as he encroaches on Rory O'Shea within 0.2 of a second. Look at how much pivoting these drivers are having to do. The shells and the bodies of these cars get so loose. There's so much pitch in these Toyota GR86s because they are so in tune with the style of what you need to drive. It's a car that wants to go sideways.
Fighting the car sometimes. It is tough as well. And just see, on the right, a lot of right. Up, now gonna really nice. Feeling car sometimes.
Well, this could be everything that you want and then some at this point. Walsh brings himself into play and looks at that group in front. It's Moore who might be the weak link in the chain. They push a little bit wider out there. It's looking close for the race lead as well as the searchers come in. Traffic will come out of the pits then as side by side. Here goes McClements trying to go around the outside and Moore. He's not going to quite get the angle he wants here to try and make this move. He's still going to try and search off for the exit. Can he get a lot of power down to maybe attack this left-hander? Big search to the inside. He's not going to try and get that done. He's not going to get what he wants out of it, but he is going to have to search a little more and now suddenly find that defense as the championship leader wants to get himself into the party, wants to get himself into the action up the hill. We have to focus on the lead as well as wide a little bit there goes Moore because that is Rory O'Shea and he realizes who's behind him once again. Yes, sir, it is Jordan Kelly who wants to bring himself into this one, who wants to find himself with that move to the race lead. McClements again will search, looking for that position, looking for that 4th place, but for the race lead once more, Jordan Kelly will sit there, but he's not in a position to make the move, and nobody is in this group, unless your name is McCann, searching for the inside. Not quite there, Craig.
Not quite there yet at the moment, but he is still trying to push on. Less than 5 minutes left to go, and you start to see McClements looking for a move there. He catches the grass on a little bit of a slide. 49 Celsius the track temp. A little slide will overheat those tires, and on a track like this at the moment, got to be careful. That could really cause issues with this next corner.
John McDonald currently in the transfer as we look at our race leaders here. Big slide in the background for fourth, but Kelly searching for that position. Can he find the mistake out of one particular Mr. Rory O'Shea, who finds himself 4 minutes and 14 seconds away from a victory in race 2. They've got to be worried as well that Sean McGoldrick might get in, and look at how it dices about behind for 4th through 7th. Out on circuit. There's the move for the race lead by Jordan Kelly, managing to open up, prizing that position away out of his hands. And watch behind there for 4th position, because there's contact. They're both going to go skittering across the grass here, and that's going to drop both of them way down the order. Both McClement and as well on the outside, one Mr. Robert Moore.
Yeah, not what they wanted to see. There was a spot there to go for it, and I think it just closed up with neither driver realizing where the other one was, and that has thrown them all the way down the order outside of that reverse grid spot, which is going to be hectic for them. But John McDonald is now +8 on the day, currently sitting in P6. He's having a field day out there at the moment.
I tell you what, they're celebrating here where I am. There's fireworks going off because of the fireworks in this race. John McDonald up into 6th position, having started in 14th. I think that is a fantastic run by him at the moment in the Potato Nation car, with Tony Stack just behind him and Wingfei Chan on the bubble in 8th place. You can't ask for too much more. Running through the left with what is now 2 3/4 minutes to go. Those three are effectively racing for 3rd, 2nd and 1st in grid position for the next one. Rory O'Shea has not given up hope, but he has stared at the back of Jordan Kelly so many times. Does he have it this time over these 10 minutes to make it happen? He's already had at least 12 minutes of experience of this.
He's got to be absolutely tired of seeing the rear of that after 12 minutes, but again, he will try, but cannot get a good run out of this last corner. The key feat for him right now is he's starting to pull away from a McGoldrick. So what can Rory O'Shea do here? He needs to be closer next time by. I reckon there's going to be 3 more laps in this race, as Tony Stack is also looking to get involved in this little battle here. 7 places made by Wayne Feng. 7 places made by Hederman, 3 places made by Tony Stack. Fantastic drive by everybody. This is the battle we should be paying attention for. Do they want 1st place or do they want the points? All that question.
Everything still up for grabs, and positioning will be key over the last 100 seconds of this race, plus additional time remaining in the lap. Tony Stack trying to figure out a way past John McDonald, and he's not going to have it because he's got more than a farm at this point. He's got that 6th place, and he's got it fantastically at this point.
He's trying to do what he can, though. He knows that if he can just keep up, maybe a couple more issues in front of him with how hard Walsh and McCann have been battling, he may get another position. You just never know. Such is the nature of the second race of the evening. 10 minutes can bring out the hecticness in everybody, but Stack is starting to catch up to the back of McDonald. Walsh is trying to fight as well. They almost touch together, and Rory O'Shea is still trying to find a way around Jordan Kelly. I don't think he's got it.
There's an issue for Sean Hegarty in the back of shot just there, heading through the final corner, so his race pretty much done out in 15. Rory O'Shea still desperate to find a move, but he has to take a little bit more circuit heading through the uphill. That might be costing him. That west bend is the key run. He absolutely marauds over the inside curve, but can't carry the same level of speed through there as Jordan Kelly. That leads to the diving turn, which leads to that 1 and a little bit car length that opens up. He gets a bit of grass, but that's okay. He'll grab himself into the slipstream once more. This is the last lap. He thought about the inside, but he's nowhere near close enough because he's spending the entire straight trying to catch up to Jordan Kelly, and the way that he runs the second half of the lap. We'll very quickly see what happens here to Sean Hegarty through the final corner. Just grabs a little bit of grass. Car just slams its way right, and that is a huge accident there. Head-on collision into the barriers, and very fortunate there that that car doesn't pitch and roll over. Go on, my son, not into the barriers you don't. Now heading through the right-hander for what will be the final time in race 2. Everything all about line and position, and O'Shea is resigned to his position. right now as he struggles through the uphill. It will be once more at the double. Jordan Kelly, who goes through the diving turn, will take a perfect line and will have a perfect night etched in his book so far.
2 from Kelly. O'Shea and McGoldrick finish it off. McCann gets that 4th. Walsh gets the 5th, and McDonald gets a historic stick for him there with Tony Stack just behind him. And Wing Fei just taking the last spot as well. That is your top 8 as the rest of the cars come around. I believe Hederman lost a couple spots at the end there.
I believe he did lose a couple spots, and that will be a shame for him as he will drop outside of the top 10 on the last lap. It's Jordan Kelly's win. It's 0.7 of a second over Rory O'Shea. Sean McGoldrick rounding out then the podium once more. Top 3 once more remaining undeterred. Peter McCann would move up into 4th ahead of Evan Walsh in 5th. And John McDonald there, that great 6th place finish then. You had 7th place going on then in that race, belonging to Tony Stack. Wing-Fei Chan will have the pole going from 8th place with Sean McClements 9th. And Robert Moore in 10th, Ronan Hederman dropping down the order, with Jamal Gandor 12th, Adam Dowling, Ian May, and then 4 laps down, Sean Hegarty and Martin McGonigal, 10 laps down, Rich Murphy will not be taken to the start between now and the end of the racing that we have. But jumping down in towards pit lane, well, there's no one better to talk to for you, Craig. You found yourself with Mr. Jordan Kelly.
Yeah, I got Jordan Kelly, 2 wins from 2. Started on pole on both races, but Jordan, we've got to talk about these starts. It looks like you're just not getting the best of the Toyota starts here at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with the starts. After the first race, I tried changing something, but it clearly didn't work, and I don't know. They must have some kind of secret here that I don't know about. But that's what I get from us in the first 2 rounds, I suppose. So. No, it's good to get the 2 wins, and seem to have good, strong pace. So we'll try and get the start sorted for the next race, hopefully.
Yeah, try and get that sorted because you'll be starting from 8th position. But it seems like you've got no issues overtaking here. But this is such a tough track for overtaking. What is your game plan when setting up an overtake around here? Because we did see a move out of the S's, but most of these overtakes look like they have to be done on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, start finish straight, just on braking, but I think Roy was more worried about the championship, so he kind of didn't fight me too hard for it. But no, I think he was just didn't want to get caught up in any. See, if you start battling, it could end up in carnage. So I think he played it safe. So no, it was good to get 3 overtakes. I got one around the outside of turn 1 as well, so that was good. And no, it's just trusting the car, but it's a dodgy car. Once the tires start going away, the lap times drop off at least over half a second. It's I think I've sweated about 2 buckets in the 2 races, so it's a good exercise, that's for sure.
Well, Jordan, you've got 20 minutes left for one more exercise for the night. We look forward to seeing you on the track and go well for that final race of the night. Starting from 8th position, Jordan Kelly with 2 wins, Jake. And I believe you may have somebody else in the pit lane.
I do have the driver here in second, 2 second places. It's Rory O'Shea, who is here along with me. Now, Rory, 2 second places. You must be looking at this going, I am very, very tired at staring at the back of Jordan Kelly, the way that he gets that position and you're able to follow, but overtaking proving almost always here around Lime Rock Park to be a very difficult prospect.
Yeah, I think Jordan has that little bit of pace over me now that's allowing him to stay ahead and to get past when he's behind me. So I think there's not much I can do about it unless he was making a mistake, and which he wasn't. So I was kind of stuck behind him.
But you have to be promised with the fact that you've got yourself some very, very consistent points. The main rivals that you're needing to beat in your championship, you're doing so at this point in time. So you look over towards this race 3, 7th position. What's the game plan?
Try to win it, hopefully. We just need to get my starts from a good last 2 races, so just trying to make up as many spots and pick up points.
Try to win it. Why not? Best strategy out there. Rory O'Shea joining us then, getting the results that he needs. 2 second places. Sean McGoldrick Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him at this point in time. We will. He stood by with Craig King.
Yeah, I've got McGoldrick with me for the evening, and a couple of third places for you. It looks to be like you're just keeping your eyes on the fireworks in front of you, but it also looks like you're having a nice little battle behind as well with Peter McCann. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like we're unable to hear Sean McGoldrick here, which is a shame. And we are running out of time here before race number 3. The final race brings itself into view. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to Sean after the racing action brings itself into play. It does happen from time to time, but keep an eye focused on who is in front and how these places are going to work. That top 8 invert should make life a little bit more difficult to get these overtakes sorted, but there have been drivers who have been very alert to the tunes of who can make passes and who maybe can't, and there's been one key factor in both of those races. Jordan Kelly absolutely can find overtakes, and he has them in abundance. He's been storing them in his sleeves. Let's take a look at the grid then for this final race of tonight. They know how important this one is. Oingfei Chan will start from the pole position with Tony Stack along for company. It is then John McDonald and Evan Walsh, whose 7 plus 2 makes 9 with their names, 3rd and 4th. Peter McCann and Sean McGoldrick are 5th and 6th, with Rory O'Shea and Jordan Kelly on 7th and 8th places. Sean McClement starts 9th, with Robert Moore 10th on the grid.
And quickly go over the rest of the field. Ronan Henneman will take 11th. Jamal Gandor 12th. Alan Dowling will be 13th. Ian May 14th, Sean Hegarty will be 15th, and McGonigal and Murphy will not be taking any more part in the rest of the evening. So it's a 15-car field for this final race of the evening.
An important final race of the evening. The Truno AE86 on the front as the green flag drops. It's 20 minutes worth of racing, and John McDonald has gone absolutely nowhere off of this start. He has got nothing going as he goes through. Stack now will try and make that progress as he will try and pivot his way through towards the race lead as he thinks about the move on Chan Wingfei. Wingfei holding his marks fantastically. They'll head now for the next left that goes on through as it bottlenecks up behind. It's Peter McCann now looking around him, thinking Evan Walsh has got good progress on the inside, but Goldrick on the outside trying to keep himself level and pegged here at 4th position, but at the moment it is first and away for Tony Stack as they now rush into the uphill. McGoldrick holds.
Yeah, McGoldrick a good hill. Wingface looks like he might be the cork in the bottle at the moment for some of these drivers. Tony Stack and Walsh start to go by. Tony Stack is not Iron Man at the moment, but it's going to take an Iron Man performance to hold on to that lead right now. There's already been 1 minute. He's got another 19 to go.
He's got 19 more reasons to try and keep his place as it stands. McGoldrick side by side with Wingfei Chan in towards the opening corner as it gets dicey behind between McCann, O'Shea and Kelly. The main players of the championship now rushing about against each other as they now etch their way through turn 3. O'Shea giving a bit of door out there trying to find that pass, and there's not much more you can argue about if you're Peter McCann. He rushes back through on the inside. He'll have the inside all the way to that turn 3 once again, but watch out for the small push that's there on the outside. Beautifully conducted, and pushing out into the barriers goes Kelly.
Into the barriers, but keeps it going, and a fantastic save there. Kelly with a little bit of a push there allowed Rory O'Shea to keep that position, but what does it cost him? It's cost him a couple positions. He's down into 10th. He's going to have to do it all over again, but calm. There's 18 minutes left in the race. Plenty of time to get those positions back.
And for the race lead, Evan Walsh is starting to search what is going to be his secret cap as they go through. Now there is Robert Moore on the outside of Sean McClements, and McClements might get some great drive off the exit and take that place. McCann holding the weight of the world behind him at the moment. You shall not pass at this point through turn 3 into turn 4 there, the right-hander, and now on the run to the uphill corner, turn number 5. Top 3 are away at this moment, and then it's 4th and 5th, and the rest of the group, this is 6th on back, all tripping up over each other.
It's Peloton Racing. We're into Tour de France season, and this is Peloton Racing at its best. A driver trying to look for a move. Was that McDonald looking to have a little sneaky look in there? It was, but he was unable to. Is that going to compromise him? We'll wait and see. The 37 there of Roger Moore. He's going to look for some moves, but look at everybody go for the defense. Moore will have to try and do this around the outside. Don't think he's got it done. He's going to fight it, by God.
My word, he is. And I tell you what, Robert Moore's on the wrong end of the road. That is McClement finding the move and getting it done brilliantly there. Now you got Jordan Kelly round at turn number 3. And the left-hander strikes for Kelly, who was trying to push his nose where it didn't belong.
It's not been a good race for Jordan Kelly. He's won 2 races tonight, but just a challenge of this track and the overtaking and the pack mentality, it's not going to plan for him, but it's going to plan very shortly for Rory Shea. But we're going to look at this start, because look at that mistake there at the start from McDonald, and it just caught everybody off guard.
It did. Everyone had to swarm their way around. That could have been disastrous. And there's the tap on Ian May in the background. Number 1 there, Ronan Hederman. That was tipping both of them down the order then to the back of the field. And it looks like Ian May is looking at this going, well, I don't want to be in last place. There's the top 3. There's Rory O'Shea through now on Chan Wing Fei up into that 4th place. He'll have his eyes are fixed to McGoldrick and the Mr. Sparkle car. He's looking for a way past Evan Walsh. He won't find it at the uphill with that sort of angle. No, sir.
No, sir, indeed. But he looks like he's going to try and do what he can. Rory O'Shea now, but he has been released. He's going to do it himself. Adam Dowling goes into the pits. Looks like he's had a moment out there. We'll see later. We want to see what O'Shea's going to do here. But he's got a mammoth run, and this is going to be cool, calm, collected on Evan Walsh. He's going to get P2 with little trouble.
He's got a mammoth run like it's Ice Age as he dives down the inside. That is as beautiful as you can have it. And there's the checkup for Evan Walsh. He gets all Shea to sideways, and it brings Rory O'Shea into play now in 4th position. And it might actually bring Chan Wing Fei in the tofu taxed machine. They're behind in 5th. It's all about this group now, and slow off the exit goes one Mr. McGoldrick, and that will bring Walsh back through into the 2nd position, and they will have to make chase once more to Tony Stack at the front. Replay here brought to you by the Global SimRacing Channel. This is Adam Dowling.
This is Adam Dowling taking too much grass, hitting that curb, that tyre barrier, and it's just enough to get in there, and oh, that's not what you want. It just goes from bad to worse. You've already hit the tyre wall, you go into the main steel wall, and then you go into the other wall. It looks like a slapstick comedy, and it's not what anybody wants to see. McCann get past Wing Fei in the background, but this is what we're looking at. McGoldrick, after making a mistake at the S's last lap, can he hold on and get that P2 back that he had for just a short moment?
The answer to life, universe, and everything at the moment is Evan Walsh in 2nd position. It's all about this, though, for these front 4. Can they work together and keep behind the championship leader, Peter McCann, Wing Fei Chan, and then the recovering Sean McClement out there on circuit? Those are the main players, as that's McDonald there. The Potato Nation car finds the barriers up the uphill.
Finds the barriers at the uphill, and he is crawling around, so it looks like he has some damage. He may be having to take a tow. This is what we're looking at. Hello, we saw a driver go a little bit wide. McDonald going to try and limp that car back to the pits. It looks and it feels like that allows Jordan Kelly to get a little bit of an advantage. He's trying to make his way back through the field. In he goes. That's Jordan Kelly going up. The leaders, though, as we go to the midfield. First, Wing Fei is trying to battle on, and give him credit, though. He started pole. You knew that he was a little bit out of the comfort zone, but he's done his best to hold it where he is at the moment.
Get it back to the race lead. Rory O'Shea very nearly lost his car completely. McGoldrick's been shuffled back to 4th place, and all of a sudden, they're giving Tony Stack a little bit of leeway, like he's Victor Lafay in stage 2 of the Tour de France over to San Sebastian at this moment in time, giving him just a little gap that allows him to brake and brake late at that point on top. Still 12 minutes, though, to figure it out. In the background, Robert Moore taking the big scenic route.
Now, I'm pretty sure he's drifting on the car that is a drifter in Wingfei's car there, and he's not able to do it, but he's managed to get the great control. McClements has gone around as well. He is out. He's gone a bit too wide. Can he get that car back and try and make a start? I don't think he can. Meanwhile, up front, Evan Welch almost got spun by Rory O'Shea, and then Rory O'Shea almost got spun by Sean McGoldrick. It's a car park at the moment.
Everybody is being checked up, and get your accordions out like your Weird Al Yankovic. This is starting to become a bit of a polka party up at the front of the field. McGoldrick now trying to chase back onto this group, and as this happens, Tony Stack, who started second position, is just as cool as you like on the front. He's probably got a set of aviators on going, yeah, this is what I call racing.
You know, you talk about this peloton, this Tour de France thing, just this reminds me of a single day race in Grand Tour cycling where somebody's made a breakaway and the pack just go, nah, let him bide, let him bide, let him go, let him go. And then when it's too late, it's too late. And that's what it could be at the moment. Evan Walsh is not attacking Tony Stack, so the rest of the field is not catching up to him. Is that a sign that O'Shea has to get past Evan? I think it might be, but where can he make these moves at the moment?
Turn one, it's very simple. The one place he hasn't been able to make the move all night because he doesn't have a line through this corner, the West Bend, that opens it up. He's too aggressive on that inside curve. He's just getting too early into the turn, and that's scrubbing all his speed off on the exit, and it's actually tripping a little bit there. He's as he pushes very wide there off the exit of the final corner, it is starting to just tip over on his traction control, and that's what's hurting him, his style of driving.
Yeah, you can just see he really wants that position. He really wants that advantage, but he's just overdriving the car right now. He has to calm it down. Track temp still 48 Celsius, and we know after talking with Jordan Kelly that the tyres fall off pretty quickly in this short race, and they're halfway through, and this is into territory they're not used to with these tyres, so they're going to have to manage them a lot more than they would have earlier in this race. Goldrick gets brought back into this. We've got 4 cars all together. Peter McCann is starting to catch up as well. Keep eyes on him. This could be a 5-car pack within a lap or two.
That's not what someone like Sean McGoldrick wants, who, remember, does not have his drop rounds after missing the second round of the championship at VIR Grand West. He will be looking to try and push through. Troubles out on circuit for Ian May. His day is done, as there's a huge issue out there through the last turn for Evan Walsh. He pushes him out wide, but the gap's still 0.4 of a second here. They are slowly bringing it back, but are they going to let the inmates run the asylum, or are they going to start playing amongst themselves in terms of the way their race is going? Either which way you look at it, it's going to be close here as they go through, and I tell you what, it's going to be all about who has patience in the way they make their moves.
Well, Guns N' Roses were playing in the weekend at Glastonbury. They had a little bit of patience, but this is going to be a little bit of Paradise City if you're Tony Stack. He sees everyone battling behind, and he may be up with them, but they have to watch themselves. All he has to do is keep his eyes forward. All Evan Walsh needs to do right now is keep his eyes behind. And I wanted to pick up there. Did you see the little scuttle there, the little slide that Rory O'Shea had last lap? Well, he got caught out by braking by Evan Welch. It looks like he is trying to find a place to outbrake Evan Welch into turn 1.
Well, that is going to be very tough orders then in terms of how you do it. A big shot to the back from Walsh. He gets into the back of Tony Stack, looking for the race lead. It's not going to happen like that. You're not going to chrome horn him out the way. You're not going to find it here at the left-hander either. You're going to have to play a patience game. You want to try and get that through. It is not working right now as they try and traverse through towards that uphill once again. Rory O'Shea is sitting there in third, thinking, how on earth are these two in front going to drive a race like this, and I'm not going to get a piece of the pie to move up to that race lead. Big wide line taken by Walsh. He's searching.
He is searching, and I think that was a warning shot. Now Walsh is trying to work out if he can do some late braking, and that's just paid off for him. Well, it almost didn't, because he almost collected in the top 2, almost crashed out, but you start to see they're trying to look at it. Meanwhile, Jordan Kelly trying to work his way through the field. He's battling Hederman right now in a nice little battle. And down the hill they go, brilliantly as you like. Meanwhile, lead change and a collision.
And a collision, and that's going to bring Rory O'Shea through on the inside. He doesn't have the angle, he gets turned. Stack turns him, and they go through turn 3, and he's still going to hold on to that second. Walsh might be getting a ticket out of here.
Walsh has just got himself a nice little prize there. He'll take the lead away from Tony Stack and then some. Peter McCann in the background going off. Rory O'Shea will get that P4. He's only lost 1 position, but he's now 2 seconds behind the leaders. That's not what he wants to see. He's in a battle with Peter McCann. Meanwhile, the top 3, they're in their own little battle, and everything changed.
Everything changed, and the more things change, the more things sometimes stay the same. Great racing, no doubt about it. Now you got a sense where Peter McCann wants to try and find that next pass, that all-important move that gets him back into that 4th position. He's playing damage limitation tonight here at Lime Rock Park. This has not been the racetrack where he's been able to get the out-and-out speed that he wants. He's having to play a little bit of the Alain Prost mode.
Yeah, you know what? This reminds me of the Nürburgring Lime Rock. I know that sounds crazy, but this is the track where you've got to be good at it, and people are specialists at a track like this just due to its nature. And you start to see some of these drivers really doing that. And Sean Hegarty at the moment is having a +4 night in this feature race, but he's got Gandor behind him as well. What can he do to try and hold on to this little battle? Hederman and Hegarty together, of the 2. As they come down the leaders, you're not missing anything.
Well, they know that they've got a Japanese double coming up in the next 2 weeks. They'll head to Okayama a week from now. A week after that, it's the 2K of Tsukuba that they'll be keeping their focus very firmly on. Here comes Sean McGoldrick to the inside of Tony Stack, and he gets the move done cleanly and crucially stays within that range of a second of Evan Walsh. He covers off the line through turn 3, moves slightly wide through that section, drops a couple tenths of a second through that little bit of track, and all of a sudden Tony Stack is looking to attack back then at the uphill. He's not going to have an angle to make that happen this time through, but now you're sensing McGoldrick, he has got to go. He's got to find a couple tenths a lap.
He's got to find that couple tenths. There's still 4 minutes and change remaining in the race. And Evan Walsh is now in the driver's seat, but he doesn't even need to bother to look back. There's almost no slipstream. McGoldrick just catches onto it. And Tony Stack, with what a race he's having, this may be his advantage. McGoldrick goes wide yet again. Keep your eyes on how many times we see some of these drivers go by. I reckon we're coming up to drive-through territory.
Well, that's going to be the big worry. Who hits that drive-through territory? There is a black and orange mechanical flag, though, for Jamal Gandor, who's down in the pit. So it looks like his struggles then today off at turn 1 on his own. A shame for the SimCity Esports driver. That gap, 9 tenths of a second, 8.5 tenths of a second. McGoldrick is flirting around that range. But at the end of the day, very much like he's trying to swipe right on Tinder, he's struggling to find a date.
Yep, you don't want to be doing that too much here. Remember, there's only one corner that's a left-hander, so he's doing a lot of right swiping at the moment, and he's over-correcting and over-pushing this car. Jordan Kelly, he's trying to make that recovery drive we were talking about. He's got Chan Wing-Fei right in front of him. He looks like he'll get this done. Probably not right now. He's going to wait for the final corner, get that launch, get what he can, but that looks like that might be all he can do. He gets that done easily as Chan decides it's not worth the battle. Kelly's got 5 seconds to catch up to McClement. I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
No, I don't think he is either, and that's going to be a game of waiting out there as Robert Moore let everyone through the lap traffic. Peter McCann still eyeing up a 4th place overall then in this one. Still not quite there, still not quite what he wants from it, but he still wants to gain that place. He still wants to pass Rory O'Shea. He's not quite there just yet, though. He's got to look and he's got to search, but Rory O'Shea, over 1 lap, I think has been the 2nd best driver all night.
Yeah, he definitely has. It has shown it. We say that, we've just cussed him out because he's gone off at the West Bend. Hopefully he'll be able to keep the speed up to hold this from McCann. And he will. That's going to be a late lunge from McCann if he tries it. O'Shea's really had a good night in terms of speed, but when it's come down to it, when he's had to be aggressive, he's just been unable to do it. mainly just due to the fact that he's had to try and attack Jordan Kelly all night. But now when he's attacking somebody else, it just feels like the heat and the tyres are starting to go away from him.
And it's all about management. Who's been able to save a little bit more than the others around? That's been the key to Evan Walsh as he looks around, realises, hang on a minute, it's still Sean McGoldrick chasing, still at half a second back, just an arm's length, like a big prop, trying to make sure that nobody else is going to take that rugby ball away. In through the West Bend, still at 5 to 6 tenths of a second. He's doing just enough to keep McGoldrick behind, but this is where the advantage of the slipstream comes into play. This one straight.
The one straight as a penultimate lap comes into play now. Walsh needs to try and make sure he holds on to that gap next time by. Gained about 3 tenths did McGoldrick on that straight with a good run. He understands that is the assignment now for Evan Walsh. Keep it delta, see what you do. Keep it calm, keep it cool, keep it collective. Well, that's what he's doing. That time ebbs and flows. Evan Walsh needs to stop mirror watching and he'll get a very decent victory out of this night.
It's not over yet though. Sean McGoldrick is hand over fist, taking the hundreds and thousands out there like he's stealing them from a sweet shop. Has he got an angle on Evan Walsh? The West Bend, he might struggle with a bit of aero push through here. He hasn't had as much over the last couple of laps, but down the hill for that diving turn, has he got the momentum? He might just have enough with that gap to go out there and attack it, and it will be the final lap of the race here if he wants to try and make it happen. So where do you look? He angles, he feigns to the inside. The prime place is gone from the Sam Posey straight. He'll need something else.
Needs a miracle now. He's got a couple more corners that he could do a late move, and that would be going to the uphill. But he would need a great run out of the S's here. Let's watch it on board. He looks in. Can he get a great run here? Maybe take a little bit of grass here. And predicted he's going to fight that. He compromises himself. He may not have a run here. He's only got 2 more corners. He can do it.
It's this corner or bust. West Bend is the key now, and he's got to get a run up this hill. Struggling a little bit here, and he's losing time on this straight. This is big for Evan Walsh as he drives it into the West Bend. He's going to use all of the road and then some, and then down the hill. Sean McGoldrick's going to have to hope that there is a miracle slide coming out of this exit. He will use all of the toners available to him, but oh, Father Time, you have run out. Evan Walsh takes race 3.
And Tony Stack will come behind him in P3. Great little battle by O'Shea and McCann on the last lap. McCann tried to look for a move at the West Bend. It just was not there. There's Jordan Kelly getting a P7, a great recovery drive. And I've got to give a shout out there, unfortunately, for Wing Fei Chan. Yes, he finishes in 8th position, but what a drive that was starting from pole. As John McDonough will come and take 10th position, Ronan Henman will take 9th. They are the last drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, they'll wait for John McDonald and the Potato Nation car to make its way around and find a finish out there. And he is the last driver on the lead lap, just on the lead lap, I must say. 48 seconds adrift on a lap time of 57 seconds. He didn't have much leeway as he came to the line, but still a finish on the lead lap is impressive nevertheless. We're going to step aside for one moment, though, here with the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll be back with post-race fallout, post-meet fallout here from Lime Rock Park. our director has a headache, so we're going to be quiet here as we go through the results then of race number 3. It was a very, very strong performance by Evan Walsh. He was able to pick up the win 20 minutes and 20 seconds, and he wins by a margin of 0.2 of a second in the end over Sean McGoldrick in second position. It's Tony Stack who picks up the third, 1.3 seconds back. He had a sensational drive, an Ironman-like performance with Rory O'Shea 4th and Peter McCann in 5th position. Sean McClements would finish 6th, 9 seconds off of the lead, with Jordan Kelly having his dramas early on, couldn't fight his way through the traffic, could only manage 7th after the 2 wins earlier on. Wing-Fei Chan had a strong result from pole position. It's very weird to say that when he still finishes in 8th, but that's still a strong result for his style of driving, with Ronan Hedeman 9th and John McDonald the last finisher on the leading lap.
As we get to the second page, all these drivers had issues. Ian May will finish 1 lap down in 11th, and Robert Moore 2 laps down in 12th. Sean Haggerty will be 4 laps down 13th. Jamal Gandor retired early in 14th. As did Alan Dowling. He retired early after a couple incidences. Well, Martin McGonigal and Rich Murphy did not take the start.
They did not, but we're going to ignore some headaches and we're going to now start talking to some drivers who picked up some strong results. Craig, you've wandered down the paddock and you found yourself with Evan Walsh.
I found Evan Walsh, who had a fantastic evening. 14th to 8th in the first race, 8th to 5th in the second race, using that reverse grid to go 4th to 1st there. And Evan, that has got to feel like a fantastic drive by you. 42 is the meaning of life and everything, and it looks like today is your night.
Yeah, I was a bit lucky with that last race, to be honest. I had a few little moments here and there with touches with Tony at one stage, and I think Sean, and even Rob at one stage. But yeah, I'm delighted to get the win. I actually had no practice. I literally just jumped on at the start of quali, so I can't complain too much about that result.
No, it was a fantastic result, but the pack racing is such a tough element around this track, and it did show that sometimes you're all missing your braking points and taking different points. How crucial is it to just keep close to somebody in that pack racing mentality on a track so tight like Lime Rock?
Yeah, you really need to be in the draft the whole time, because if you lose it, there's just no gaining it back. Like even after quali, you see the times were so close. There's really kind of nothing you can do. It's a hard track to make up any time on, really, and I suppose that's probably why lads were maybe missing their braking points, just trying to get that extra little bit, but it's just not there to be had, really.
No, and we go from what is a rookie track in Lime Rock to another rookie track next week in Okayama. Now, this victory has given you quite a lot of points that can help missile you up to that podium spot in the championship. What are we looking from you in that next race? Obviously now you're fighting in that top podium with McClements, with O'Shea, with McCann. Do you think you'll be able to carry this momentum forward next week?
To be honest, I just want to be consistent, because I usually try and go out and I want to win, and it tends to not go too well. So if I can just do what I did tonight and even last week as well, was just try to be consistent and not make mistakes, the results kind of come then. So fingers crossed the momentum stays going into next week.
Well, Evan, you are the winner of the feature race. The floor is all yours before we let you go for the night for any shout-outs you have.
I just want to thank everyone in RTA, Rob and Peter for organising everything, and I know there's a few more lads, and yourselves as well. I look forward to watching back the race. I do it every week after we get out of the sim. So yeah, thanks very much, lads.
Thank you very much, Evan. That was Evan Walsh, the winner of the feature race, Jake. And I believe you've also come down to this very small pit lane at Lime Rock to have a Sean McGoldrick with you.
Yeah, I do have Sean McGoldrick. We tried to talk to him earlier, so hopefully we'll get a chance to now. Sean, a great night for you. 3 podiums in the book. Yes, no victories, but very consistent running. You were right up there near the pointy end. Do you feel like you had a little bit of luck compared to some of the other drivers around you over the course of the first 2 races to give you that chance to fight for the win in race 3?
Yeah, I think I had a little bit of luck. I got a decent start in the final race. Peter was very kind going into, I think it's Big Bend, the big uphill bend. I was turning in and he managed to back out just in time. So I probably misjudged that one and he saved me there. So I was very lucky.
Well, luck, of course, is a huge factor when it comes to racing. People don't often think about that, but it certainly has been for time to time. But you come off of a week's hiatus. You know you don't have anything in the back pocket to save you in these races. So how important has the preservation of Mr. Sparkle on the front of your car been?
Yes, I love watching it on the stream. It's, and it was great that you recognised what it was.
Well, you've always got to recognise a good livery when you see one, and I believe Mr. Sparkle is heading home to its main advertising hall. It's Okayama next time out, so what are you expecting out of your Toyota GR86?
Yeah, it's another rookie track, but at least this has got a couple of hairpins, a couple of big braking zones that we can really have a go at trying to race. So I think it'll be more a matter of survival last week than this, in a strange way.
Well, if you believe it's going to be more survival, we will see. Floor is yours, though, for anyone you'd like to thank, Sean.
Yeah, yourself. The stream last week was great when I wasn't able to race, and Lawrence isn't well today, so he wasn't able to race. So yeah, shout out to him.
Well, we'll hope Lawrence gets better soon. Everybody loves the way that he drives out there. But Sean McGoldrick, driving like a dream. 3 podiums here tonight. An amazing action going through. And from one amazing drive to another, I believe you found Iron Man, Craig.
I found Tony Stark. I do apologise for that little slip there during the race. Tony Stark here. This is the man that takes the advantage of what the reverse grid is. 9th to 10th in the first race, 10th to 7th in the second, and second to a great podium for the first time this season. Tony Stark, you've got to feel happy with that podium.
Yeah, I looked into it, really. I looked into it in the second race. I was surprised I lasted more than half the race in the lead there. And Evan, it was strange that he wasn't actually attacking me. I found it weird, but great race. Delighted with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because at one stage of the race you were there in the lead for I think a good 4 or 5 laps, and it just felt like you were just under control and nobody was there for you. Were you worried about behind you, or were you just keeping yourself forward? Because I think the moment everything changed was the moment there was a little tap on the back, but until then, it looked like you weren't bothered at all with who was behind you.
I wouldn't say that. No, I was driving in my mirrors a bit, all right, and I'm usually way off the pace in these cars, so I was really delighted to be there. I just see how long I'd hang on for. There was a tap before the lap before Evan got past me, and I might have lost a little bit of composure the next time through that corner, but I gave the guys too much. I let them by too easily, basically. But I knew they weren't probably going to get past me anyway, so I was kind of playing the long game, sitting behind them.
Well, taking advantage of the 20 minutes that you get in the feature race and playing that long game is very helpful. We go to Okayama next week. Again, I know you're saying you're not strongest in this car, but have you got any experience at Okayama as we head to, again, what we've been saying for the last 5 minutes, another rookie track? What are we looking to see from you next week?
Not recently. I think I drove it in Skip Barber like about a year and a half ago. It's probably the last time I was there, but it's similar enough track to Lime Rock, so I'm hoping I can keep a bit of form. I'm not the biggest fan of the car, but we'll see.
Well, let's see indeed. Tony, it's the first time we've seen you this season on the podium. First time we've seen you in the booth, so it's fair enough to say the floor is all yours for any shout-outs you'd like to give this evening.
Oh, thanks very much. So to yourselves, Craig, Jake, Daniel, GSRC peoples, and to the organisers of the league, Rob, Peter McCann, and all the boys on the Discord.
Well, Tony, congratulations on a P3. We look forward to seeing you next week at Okayama. Until then, have a good evening. P3, Tony Stack there, Jake, to round off a entertaining night here at Lime Rock Park.
Entertaining doesn't do it justice. This was an important night here at Lime Rock Park, and the results speak for themselves. Those who needed results got them. Those who didn't get what they wanted have work to do heading to round 4 of 8. The end of next week marks the halfway stage over the course of the season. You'll see that with us on the Global SimRacing Channel. Want to give a massive thanks to the team who's got it done here today, from myself, Craig King, and Daniel Costello, our director. Dougie Beard has been on the cameras. You can catch all of our stuff here on the Global Sim Racing channel if you like, if you share, if you subscribe. And here is the tools of the trade that help get it done, including music from June Lalonde. You can catch her stuff on her Bandcamp. But there is so much amazing racing to come, including the likes of the Porsche Owners Club, which will be heading over to the Red Bull Ring on July the 10th on 11 p.m. Eastern for that one, and so much more coming across your screen. We will be with you 1 week from today, and we will be with you at Tsukuba, which will, or before Tsukuba, Okayama, then Tsukuba. Over the next 2 weeks, it's the Japan double affair that'll be going through, and of course, these Toyota GR86s, they head on home. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you in Okayama.